Hello and welcome to Aspen Affairs, the public affairs show from the Aspen Chamber Resort Association. I'm still your host, Debbie Braun, President and CEO of ACRA. You're watching Election 2024, Informed, Empowered, our series on this fall's election where we're going to highlight voter resources, share key election information, and break down issues you'll find on your ballot. You can learn more and watch all the episodes online at aspenchamber.org/elections. Today's guest, I pulled in a big one, everyone. It's Chuck Butler, a leading member of Citizens Against Bigger Planes. The group successfully placed an initiative 200 on the ballot this fall. Chuck, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so just to get started, tell me just a little bit about yourself and why you decided to get involved with this initiative.
Absolutely. So I've been in the Aspen area since 2005. Did take a little sabbatical to chase a female interest around the country and found my way back. So delighted to be here. Been back since 2019. I like so many people, like everybody here, I love and cherish what Aspen has to offer. This valley's incredible. Love this community, and got involved in this process last summer. Met some people that are friends at Aspen Fly Right at the farmers market. Started talking to them, knew there were limitations in what they were doing. And the more I spoke with my friends and peers and sort of colleagues, former colleagues, current colleagues, felt like there was something here, something worth fighting for, something worth having a conversation about.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I'm here today.
Well, thank you so much. Can you tell me, did you participate in the airport visioning process where, I don't know, 130 of us all got together, and I was with the community characters. It was quite the committee. But were you able to participate in 1920 with that?
So I did not.
Okay.
That was something that was unfamiliar to me at the time.
Got it.
I'll be honest, I was in Basalt actually when I first came back in 19.
Okay.
And then as COVID set in, I was confined to an apartment on Main Street.
Yeah.
I was not involved. I know that process had 120 members to begin with.
Yeah.
I also know a number of those members were quickly discouraged by how it went, and were either quieted or left on their own accord.
Interesting. I feel like it was a difficult process for sure to go through because on the community character, there was half that felt one way and half that felt another way. So finding the ability to hear what other people were saying, it took a skill set. I'm not going to lie to you. And I think some people might have said, oh, this is too much for me, I'm not being heard. But it was definitely one for the books where it really took me some time and energy to understand what the other people were saying. So I found it to be beneficial, and I thought the county did a pretty good job with that. However, 120 people isn't that many when you're talking about a county as large as we are as well. So I could appreciate that as well. Your group has been pretty vocal about preventing expansion at the Aspen-Pitkin County Airport. However, the current runway requires kind of some significant maintenance, and experts have raised safety concerns about the aging infrastructure. How do you kind of reconcile that public safety with kind of a desire to limit airport modification?
I don't think anyone I work with or anybody I know will deny that the airport needs a new runway and better facilities.
Yeah.
And so
look, we have stuff in common. Yes, we do.
And I would like to, for the record, say that is not what's been said about us.
Okay.
I think everything in the ALP, and I don't have it in front of me, but I think just about everything in the ALP is something that we agree on.
Okay.
We would love, better access, better facilities for the staff. How nice if you could spread out and sit during a delayed flight and not have to worry about maybe leaving the terminal to go across the street.
Yeah.
I know the ski company, Aspen One, has talked about a better transportation option. I think that's hopeful that we think that our Little Nell guests and our Limelight guests are going to get on the bus down down 82 and into Main Street. But
they'll be on the shuttle.
But I take the bus to the airport.
Yeah.
I live in Snowmass. I'm a 2-minute walk, and that works. So, from From a safety, I've heard examples of a plane loses an engine or a tire on the runway, and that a wider runway somehow makes that safer.
The pilots say that. I don't know personally.
I haven't heard a pilot say that.
Michael
I've heard,
Goldberg said it at our board meeting the
Okay,
other day,
okay.
as he's a pilot and he's
Yeah.
come in and out. So
So whether or not an extra 40 feet in each direction saves someone going off the end of the runway, that's not for me to say.
Right.
I will say I'm not the expert on everything we will talk about today. There are some very smart people involved in this, and I'd like
Yeah.
to think I've been sort of humble and honest when I've spoken with the Board of County Commissioners
Yeah.
or with the press. I don't claim to know all the answers, but I do think that there are people in this community worth talking to
Yeah.
and worth engaging, because I think the answers are all there.
Yeah, thank you. We did a member survey that we just have published out, so you're more than welcome for all that
Yeah.
information as well and to look at the comments in there. Two things that stood out: safety and reliability of service. That's really what the businesses are after. Those are their two top priorities. Pitkin County is bound by contracts with the FAA, which provides significant funding for airport maintenance. If the initiative passes and halts those runway improvements, are you prepared to address like a potential loss of that FAA funding, which could be up to like 90% of the required $120 million? Kind of how do you propose the county should handle that financial burden if we weren't to take that funding?
So I want to start by saying our question 200 is a question of whether or not the people should have a right to vote on the future of the runway.
Mm-hmm.
The county's measure 1C takes away our legally given right to vote. So what we're really talking about in question 200 and 1C, and I will answer your question.
Thank you.
I'm not going to be a normal politician here.
We're just people, Chuck.
We are. Boy, aren't we?
We just want to know
I
what's
haven't put on
going
a blazer for this thing.
Thank you.
But I think it's important to distinguish when we were in the streets, and 1,200 signatures were collected. I think 1,207, 1,000 verified on the nose, which felt great. This was it was required 5% of the 14,000 voters here in the county. Whether or not people agreed with bigger planes or a larger runway, the vast majority, 7 out of 8, wanted a say.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this Board of County Commissioners, the more you attend these meetings, they hear, they take your comment, but it doesn't sound like they're hearing it.
Well, Chuck, why didn't you just put an airport question on then? Why did we do a home rule charter?
Home rule charter amendment?
Because the county is saying, well, listen, they put the home rule charter amendment. Now we have to reaffirm our own power. So we're going to put one on. Which I just wish somebody would have just put an airport question on, if you want to know the truth.
Yeah.
So why did you go down that route then?
There were, through legal counsel, we worked with a couple legal teams.
Okay.
There was we had FAA attorneys who specialize in FAA law.
Got it.
And the path of discussing the modification of standards, that's not up to us.
Right.
The FAA is in charge of accessibility and safety. Okay, so for us to say this is the wingspan or the separation is up to the people, that's not what we're looking for. What we would like to see is a two-way conversation, knowing that the county commissioners are speaking with the FAA and representing the will of the people.
But didn't we have that two-way conversation when we did the visioning?
As you said, 120 people is not that many in the scheme of things. So
I think
there was
like
conversation.
Statistically, it's accurate for the county, but I feel like, and the businesses feel this sense of frustration that we aren't just voting on the airport. If that's what both groups want, none of us really got what we wanted out of all of this, right?
The county isn't giving us a vote on the airport.
No, just
and we're
affirming.
asking for a vote on the airport.
Right.
And
we feel like, well, we all talked about the airport and agreed, so why do we need to vote? So I think that's kind of this murkiness everyone's feeling right now regarding the issue. So it's unfortunate.
Historically, there have been 4 votes on this airport.
Yeah.
And so I think that a lot of the people of Pitkin County think it is their right.
Yeah. Well, it is their right. It is their airport. So, and 1,000 people said we want to get this on the ballot.
Yeah.
So, I think everybody has to hear the will of the people too. Now, they didn't say they would vote, and our polling really strongly suggests that people are supporting 1C. We'll find out, of course, at the polls. But from that business perspective, they seem to be leaning more towards that way.
And as of yet, just unless I'm incorrect, the FAA has not pulled its grants. Said we currently, as of last month, we received money. We missed out on a bucket of money, which was statewide, that because we didn't have a plan.
Yeah.
And that plan,
we didn't have an approved plan.
Yeah. And that plan, that's years of planning around an ALP that the county commissioners.
We still need an EA, the environmental assessment too, correct?
We've been waiting on that.
Yeah.
And there's also people calling for measurements of micropollutants, the particulates at the end of the runway.
Okay, we're not
going to get into that. Let's stay on the right path
Come back
here.
with me.
Yeah,
your initiative argues for giving Pitkin County voters more direct say in airport changes. However, the critics claim that technical decisions related to the airport infrastructure are better left to aviation and safety experts. How do you respond to concerns that a public vote on such a highly technical matter could kind of slow down or complicate critical safety infrastructure improvements?
I think the number one conversation we've had, topic of conversation, is around quality of life. Mm-hmm. We have it pretty good. You've been here a little bit longer than I have.
Not much, but a little bit, yeah.
And in the past 20 years, things will never stay the same. That's not the expectation.
No.
But businesses have grown. Town has changed. The mountain's booming. There's more visitors here than ever.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Let's fact check that because that's not true. Yeah.
But over the last few years, and I guess we're on a 2-year.
We're on a decline now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's because of the airport.
Yeah.
But
I would agree.
if I'm wrong.
No, it's not because of the airport.
But we've seen incredible growth over the last 2 decades, and a readjustment from COVID.
Yeah.
But you can call it whatever you or we can.
Yeah. Well, after COVID, so many people were like COVID refugees, and they came and they moved here. So it's really not the visitor; it's people that are actually using their second homes again, and we're kind of holding out in Aspen. Now that's changed again. So since 2020, definitely things are looking a little bit different, and hopefully recorrecting in the right way. Yeah.
And I think just to cap my point here, or what I started to say, we've talked about quality of life, and this is what we keep hearing. And and I live in Snowmass, and I actually will, at some point I'll sneak this in as well, but I don't come to town anymore. I came to see you today here.
You don't come to town?
I came.
Is it the traffic?
It's traffic.
Yeah.
And so, and I don't go to the Bells, and I barely camp, and getting a dinner reservation during peak times is tough.
You're not making yourself sound good here.
No,
You're not enjoying your community.
No, I absolutely, I love being in Snowmass.
Yeah.
And I spend, but I think perhaps more my point is we're looking at quite a bit of overcrowding, quite a lot of traffic. And if any of this could, I know so many people who are down valley, whether by choice or not. I work with, vendors and housekeepers, and and a number of friends who come all the way from Newcastle.
Yeah.
And I know some people who come from Rifle every day. And so, we're talking about traffic, we're talking about noise.
Well, we should be talking about the bridge, it sounds like, Castle Creek Bridge. Today's almost October 1st, right? The flight schedule's been slashed in half. We're in the off-season schedule now, yet you're still fighting that traffic. So we know it's not airport related at times. It really is aging infrastructure on the roads too. So I think Aspen and Pitkin County is having a reckoning right now between aging infrastructure and what are really the best steps forward for the next 25 years. So your kids, my kids, we can all just sort of have this special place that so many people have tried to save for so long. I think we both agree on that.
100%.
Big, heady issues that everyone's trying to, what I hope is to try to do best for community. If we keep that North Star in mind, and it's going to kind of bring me to the back or the last question, which are these backroom deals people have been talking about. You know, I take people for face value. If you say something, I think you're telling me the truth. Over the years, I've found out that that's not actually true. A lot of times you're being used as a pawn in a bigger piece. So I always try to be very careful about what I can support and what I can't, because the truth is not everybody's always honest. But you've really have spoken about the importance of transparency and avoiding these backroom deals in the airport decision-making process. I would agree with you as well. I have not been a part of any backroom deals, and I would be very disappointed if others were. But do you have any evidence that you can that these deals are going on, or how do you plan to ensure that the public is more informed about these complex technical and financial decisions kind of moving forward? I'd love to get your thoughts on that.
We know that the county has advisors and consultants on the airport, and we know that there's meetings, whether directly or not, with the county and the FAA. And I think a lot of the direct quotes from the FAA, there are some, and there's definitely some, but a lot of the direct quotes out of those meetings and the threats seem a little vague, and it's
But what if they're not? I mean, are you willing to accept the consequence of potentially like losing the funding or not getting the terminal done? Like, you feel strong enough that
the hope is that we do not lose the funding. And I think I speak for the majority of Pitkin County. There are people who have plans otherwise. There is a lingering cloud of $1 billion coming from Atlantic Aviation, which...
Nope, we're staying on point. I don't know. I mean, because we don't want to talk backroom.
No.
Is that a backroom deal?
No, I mean, well, it's public news. It's that $890 million over the next 30 years, I believe it's $28 million a year, will be coming to the county, and the county has asked for permission from the federal government to use that money elsewhere. So why aren't we using that on the runway? That is not my plan. I don't think we have to go down this route. But there is money out there. I think there are options, but I think for what I'd like to see and what's most important is that the FAA and the county the FAA is hearing what the people want. Now, when it's all said and done on November 5th? On November 5th, we will know the will of the people.
Yes.
And if you know, we've talked about citizens against bigger planes. Our airport, our vote is the issue committee on this. So I'm involved in both.
Got it.
And a number of us are, but for political reasons, I should have interrupted you at the beginning. But our airport, our vote is as important as anything, and that who is paying for ads and the campaign material and so on and so forth.
Chuck, you're volunteering for this. You're not making any money, are you?
There's not. To my knowledge, I mean, we've.
Nobody's going to write you a check afterwards.
No.
No. You're like, hello, I'll take that check.
You know,
or not.
I don't know. Hear me out. No, but you know, this comes down to, for me, this has become incredibly personal. I rent. That's my fault. I've played the housing lottery a lot. My wife and I, she's been here 5 years. I've been here on and off, but mostly on since 2005. If we don't figure out our housing situation in the next couple of years, we have an expiration date. I'm going to go back east, and I'll be and I know a lot of people who think that one of the things we've talked about as a campaign is we open the door to a handful of cleaner new models of airplane, and it leaves the back door open for dozens of dirtier planes. And if they fit, they will come. And it doesn't sound like the planes that come will be commercial. I think we all agree on that. It even sounds like it's a 1-to-1, the CRJ for the Embraer 175 number of passengers. I think that's great. I really do, because everything you said about traffic and otherwise, it is what it is. It's the world we live in, and it's kind of always been that way, especially when it's busy. But a wider runway will mean more planes, and no matter how you look at it, it will mean more people. And I think it will only continue to exacerbate any of the issues that I talked about. I don't know that I agree, but I have a lot of respect for what you have been doing as a volunteer and for how you feel about this
Ballot Initiative. And if I can give you any hope, you know, I've been here 25 years, and I remember first starting as like a membership person at the chamber. Like, I was renting, and then I had 2 children, and the cost of the children in daycare was as much as a mortgage would have been, and then add health care on top of that. This valley is extremely difficult to stay here and make your mark. And the people who do stay make so many sacrifices, which I think is why they're so passionate about being here. So I just want to say that I had those same conversations. I think many people have, and either you have to figure it out or you move on. So I'm wishing you the best of luck for figuring it out. I think there is a path forward. The county's putting a affordable lodging, or not affordable lodging, but a affordable housing question on the ballot. I hope you'll look at that and maybe support that one. And I really appreciate all the work that you've been doing. We're on separate sides, but everybody, Chuck feels just as passionate on the other side as I do on our side, or representing the chamber. And I think that only should leave us with respect for each other. So thank you so much. Thanks for watching this episode of Aspen Affairs, Election 2024, Informed and Empowered by Debbie Braun, President and CEO of the Aspen Chamber Resort Association. You can watch all these episodes and learn more about our local elections, and check your voter registration at aspenchamber.org/elections. Thanks to GrassRoots TV for their support. Until next time, stay informed and make your voice count. Thank you, Chuck.
Thank you so much.